Hey, welcome back to another Q&A with Dr. J. Dr. J. Dunn is the founder and CEO of MyHappyGenes, the only genetic testing company that not only gives you your unique genetic profile, but combines it with your unique biochemistry, what's happening to you right now, so that you can get some real answers as to why you are the way you are and why you feel the way you feel, and then get better. Dr. J, we have a question about gene testing in general. There's a lot of myths, I'm going to call them myths, surrounding the idea of getting a genetic test. And there's also fear. There's, this was me before I interviewed you for my podcast. I thought, I don't want to know. Because I thought that this was going to be some set in stone, like, this was me for the rest of my life. It says I'm going to get diabetes, or it says I'm going to have, there are things I didn't even know were in there. What do I do now? And it's not like that at all. Can you talk to us about the fear and then some of the myths surrounding genetic testing?
Yeah, I think it's a really important topic because people are afraid. They're afraid of knowing. It's terrifying to think that you might have the genes for Alzheimer and then just be living with the fear of like, oh, it's going to get me. And I can certainly understand that if there was nothing that you could do. But the truth is that everything you do has an effect on your body. So if you have a gene for Alzheimer's, it doesn't mean it's going to express. Otherwise, it would have expressed when you were born. It's sitting there. And so what causes it to turn on is a better question. You may have a risk for it, a high risk for it, but knowing that is powerful. Knowledge is power. And if you understand that, what you eat, how you exercise, and what supplements you take can modify that risk, then heck yeah, it seems like a really important thing to know so that you can avoid that getting you down the line. And especially if like if you have a parent or a grandparent or somebody in your family that has suffered from these conditions, it's likely that it's in your genetic profile, whether you want to look at it or not. There it is. So wouldn't you rather want to be proactive about it and notify your other family members, and talk to them about preventing. It's a kind thing to do, to alert your whole family about, hey, we all have a risk for this. Mom had Alzheimer's, so let's all talk about this instead of just ignoring it and sweeping it under the rug. Because we do know, this is a new era of, we do know that there are ways to modify that risk and lower that risk. And so I think it's an important concept and a powerful concept. Especially with being proactive, helping your family understand, taking charge of your health, and providing insight into how your body responds to certain diet and lifestyle factors. These are really compelling reasons to get your genes tested and to stay optimal. The other real fear area is privacy. And, I think you and I have talked about this, and there are concerns that, when genetic testing companies get a hold of our data, that they might share it with an insurance company, or we might get denied insurance in the future, or the Russians or the aliens will get a hold of that information.
Damn those aliens.
I don't know. You never know what can happen out there. So when we started this company, one of the reasons we started it and started doing our own DNA testing was this very reason, because we want people to we want to protect people's privacy. I was concerned when my DNA data I learned that it had been shared, with third-party pharmaceutical companies or whatever, who had bought the data that I had gotten done through some other companies. And I was like, gosh, I just don't think it's a good idea. I'm not a paranoid person per se, but I don't think it's a good idea to have our DNA out there. And so when you get your genes tested with MyHappyGenes, the only thing that goes to our lab is the barcode on the outside of the box. They never have any information about you. They don't know your name. They don't know your date of birth. They know zero. And that sample is destroyed after 90 days at the lab. And so, I think that is the first step toward protecting your privacy. But also, when you register on our website, you can put any name you want to in there. You can put Mickey Mouse, and we wouldn't care, as long as you hook up the email to that barcode and we can get that information into your account. it doesn't matter to us what information you put on there. And so we're never going to sell your data because we don't have your data.
It makes it kind of hard to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can, erase your account off of our website at any time, download your reports and just erase all trace of it. So I think those are the two biggest concerns, I believe, with getting your genes tested is the scare of what you're going to find out. And, the only reason I did this company is because there are answers, and there are good answers to preventing these kind of diseases and going forward and being proactive in your life. And I call it biohacking, and that's a pretty popular topic right now. I don't want to get old and age and break down. I'm fighting like heck. Rebellious wellness over 50 is my motto.
Over 60, over 70, we just want to keep it going.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to go there. So it's all about me anyway. No, I'm just
Yeah.
But it is very cool to start to understand that you can work with your genetics and change the expression of them in a very real way with very specific targeted nutrients, a program that's designed exactly for you and your genes.
Yeah, I want to bring up one thing that you said that might have gotten lost because it was early and you said it quickly, is that if when you were born, you had these genes, right? So if you get a test done at 60, say, or 50, and you see an Alzheimer's gene variation or a gene itself, it's been there. Yes. So what causes it to suddenly create Alzheimer's in the body? We kind of do. Or by not knowing what to do to take care of your brain in a better way, your physiology, reduce inflammation, all those things. So the importance of getting a test, like you said, is you will now know.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big piece of that, GC, is mitochondrial health. And this is where environment and genetics kind of come together, because a lot of things in our environment right now can damage our mitochondria. And our mitochondria is a little organelle inside the cell that creates energy, or ATP. And it gets damaged over time, especially by antibiotics, by electromagnetic fields, radiation, chemicals, pesticides, heavy metals. And those are all factors that we have some control over, not putting your cell phone right up next to your ear all day long. Yeah, exactly. Eating organic, staying away from heavy metals as much as possible. Don't let a dentist put mercury in your mouth. Simple things, simple lifestyle changes can protect your mitochondria. That mitochondria is critical to its health is critical to preventing the expression of a lot of these genes that are just sitting there. So is methylation. And, we touched on it in one of the previous videos, but essentially when you make methyl groups through B12 and folic acid, it keeps that gene from expressing itself. So it covers up the gene so that the environment can't get in there and turn that gene on and have it express. So those two areas we focus on a lot, mitochondrial health and methylation. And when you get those two in place, then the expression of these genes that have been sitting there like little time bombs, they can't be turned on. And so it's a big concept.
And powerful, I would say.
Yes, very powerful.
People, if you're curious about how to find out what will help you age in good health, go to myhappygenes.com, order yourself a test, read all the information we've got there. We've got blog posts on almost any topic you'd like to consider when it comes to gene testing. And if you like these Q&As, please hit the subscribe button. We'll be back again soon.
And send in your questions.
Where do you want them to send them?
Dr. J. Dunn at myhappygenes.com.
Okay. Thank you.